Everyone thinks the 1 crore mark is reserved for the lucky, the connected, or the exceptionally brilliant. But the truth is far simpler and far more uncomfortable. It's not built by genius. It's built by ordinary people who simply refuse to stay ordinary in their habits. Picture a man working a regular government job in a small town, earning a salary that most people would call average, living in a modest 2-room house, riding the same old scooter for 12 years because he refused to upgrade it just to impress people who didn't even care. And while his colleagues spent their bonuses on the latest phones and weekend getaways, he quietly opened a recurring deposit, then a SIP, then another, reinvesting every increment, every bonus, every stray rupee that came his way, not because he was disciplined by nature, but because he made a decision early on that comfort today was not worth trading for freedom tomorrow. 22 years later, without a single lottery win, without a single risky bet, without a single shortcut, his portfolio quietly crossed 1 crore rupees, and nobody around him even noticed, because wealth built this way doesn't announce itself with flashy cars or loud celebrations. It builds itself in silence, in spreadsheets, in decisions nobody claps for. This is the part about wealth that nobody tells you honestly. It is not about how much you earn. It is about how relentlessly you protect and grow what you already have, because there are people earning double, even triple what that man earned, who are still broke today, drowning in EMEs, trapped in a lifestyle they built to impress people who don't even think about them, while people earning modest salaries are quietly compounding their way to financial freedom because they understood one brutal truth early. Money doesn't grow through impulse. It grows through boring, unglamorous consistency repeated over years nobody is watching. Think about how many people you know who talk about investing, who talk about building wealth, who talk about their 1 crore rupees dream, and then spend their next paycheck on things that make them feel rich instead of things that make them actually rich. Because looking wealthy and becoming wealthy are two completely different paths, and only one of them ends in real freedom. The 1 crore rupees mindset isn't about a number. It's about identity. It's the identity of someone who treats their future self as someone worth sacrificing for today. Someone who says no to instant gratification, not because they don't want it, but because they want something bigger even more. Someone who understands that every rupee not wasted today is a soldier fighting for their freedom tomorrow. This mindset doesn't require an extraordinary salary. It requires an extraordinary relationship with delayed gratification. The willingness to let your money sit quietly in the market through crashes that terrify everyone else. The discipline to keep investing when your friends are posting vacation photos funded by credit card debt. The patience to trust, compounding even when progress feels invisible for years at a time. And here's what makes this even more powerful. The earlier you start, even with small amounts, the less brute force you need later, because time does the heavy lifting that money alone never could. A person who starts with just a few thousand rupees a month in their 20s will often outpace someone who starts with a much larger amount in their 40s, not because they're smarter, but because they gave their money more time to multiply itself while they slept, worked, and lived their life. This is why the wealthy don't chase get-rich-quick schemes. They understand that true wealth is built like a tree, slowly, with deep roots, not like fireworks that explode brightly and disappear into nothing. So if you're staring at your bank account right now, feeling like 1 crore rupees is an impossible mountain reserved for people with better opportunities than you, understand this. It was never about opportunity. It was always about behavior, about the boring, consistent, unglamorous choices repeated so many times that they eventually became inevitable. The SIP you don't touch, the bonus you don't blow, the lifestyle upgrade you delay just 1 more year, the discipline to automate your investments so your future doesn't depend on your mood or your willpower on any given day. Ordinary people build extraordinary wealth not because they had an advantage you don't have, but because they made peace with being patient in a world obsessed with instant results. They made peace with looking average for a decade while quietly building something no one could see. And by the time the world finally noticed, they had already won. So stop waiting for the perfect salary, the perfect market condition, or the perfect moment to start. Start today with whatever you have. Because the 1 crore rupees mindset isn't about the money you have right now. It's about the person you're willing to become over the next 10, 15, 20 years. One disciplined decision at a time, until one day you look at your account and realize the ordinary person you used to be quietly became someone extraordinary, simply by refusing to stop.